Well, hello and welcome to another video today. Something a little bit different for you is I'm going to be going through my top 5 mountains in Scotland. So I'm currently en route up Munro in the Northwest Highlands, Foyne Vein, one I've done early in my adventure. So I'll kick off this with number 5. Let me know if you agree with this list, and I'd like to see your top 5 down in the comments below. So in at number 5, it's got to be Avagin, part of the Fisherfield 5 Munros. I had an epic camp on the top of that Munro, and it's famed as one of the most remote and one of the best viewpoints in Scotland. So I'll show you some short clips of that adventure. Avagin is located in the Northwest Highlands of Scotland and is part of a group of mountains in the Fisherfield Forest. Now, it is a long walk into this group from every direction, but the views are stunning the whole way, and the way it reveals itself makes it that bit more special. Wow, that is some viewpoint. The whole of the Fisherfield Forest sprawled out behind me. As you can see, this is a special part of Scotland. Now, it is a long walk in at around 11 miles to reach Avagin, but the hard work is well worth it, as this is famed as one of the finest viewpoints in Scotland, and also one of the most remote as well. I spent the night on the mountain and was treated to this spectacular sunset, one of my favourite moments in the mountains. I'm gonna say it, I think this is maybe just the best viewpoint that I've seen on my Munro journey so far. What a special mountain this is. That was a special trip, that one that'll live long in the memory. And if you haven't been in that area, then I highly recommend you do so. So I can just about see this Munro to my left hand side, but before I go any further, I'll give you my number 4 favourite Munro in Scotland. So in that number 4 spot, it's going to be Bidian Nambian, the finest Munro in Glencoe. My favourite in that area by far. It's a special mountain, and the views, even when you drive up to it to see the Three Sisters, brilliant. So yeah, let's see some short clips of that. So Bidian Nambian is in the west coast of Scotland, located in Glencoe, and this mountain just strikes steeply up straight from the car park. There is literally no walk-in. As you can see, there's the road just behind me, and the great thing is the views just improve the higher you get up this mountain. Now, Glencoe is one of the best areas for hiking in Scotland. There's just mountains in every direction, and what helps Bidian really stand out is that it's the highest mountain in the county of Argyll, and the views at the top are out of this world. This majestic mountain just has everything, from narrow ridges to some of the best summit views of any mountain in Scotland, so you can definitely see why this has made the list. Now that is some mountain, isn't it, Bidian? I'm nearly at the top of this spongy mess of Foyne Vein. I remember this the first time I done it. A bit of a nightmare, but the views are lovely behind, nice rays of light. So this one's definitely not on the list, but let's get into number 3, which is Leach in Torridon. This is a stonker of a mountain. I've actually been up there quite recently in winter. Didn't make a video out of it. I was in full concentration mode, but I will show you some clips from both my times up Leach. But yeah, have a look at this. So the mighty Liach is located in Torridon, again in the northwest Highlands of Scotland, my favourite area for hiking. And much like Bidi and Nambian, this has a really steep pull up. Like most of the mountains in Torridon, they just spur straight up from the road. But the hard work is quickly rewarded as there's many rocky ridges, such as this narrow one just at the start of the climb. And it's just worth mentioning at this point that it's worth having some experience of scrambles before attempting this mountain, as some of this is grade 2, touching on grade 3 at some points. So this mountain is made up of 2 Munros, and the first one is reached rather quickly. Now I did this in winter recently and it was a challenge even making it this far, but the views up there were something else.
So DJ, fire away, we're loving all your funny ways. When you say, by the way, the show's from the other day, reminder for the bins, the cafe is open again, and Elsie took her washing in, a jingle for the lucky air. Munro FM.
This was one of the best days I've had in the mountains, and yeah, I just need to say this is not to be taken lightly. It's not an easy mountain to navigate, even in summer conditions. So after reaching that first Munro, it's then onto the pinnacles, the infamous pinnacles. Now, I actually made a mistake here when I done it the first time and went round the bypass, which was actually slightly more exposed than I think the pinnacles might have been. So I still need to revisit and go right over the top next time. As you can see here, this is exposed, wet, slippery, and this was in the middle of summer, so yeah, not the best idea. But apart from that, I had a fantastic day on this mountain. This is the second Munro here, and I think the views are even better than the first. I think it is the perfect day in the mountains, and that is why it's so high on my list. Now, days in the mountains in Scotland definitely don't get much better than that, do they? But let's get into that final 2. I'm gaining some height now. It's actually very, very breezy up here. How is that Liach for a mountain? Just a word of warning, that is a difficult expedition in summer, but even more so in winter, so you need to take real care up there. Now it's time for that number 2. At that number 2 spot, this is a difficult one between the top 2, and I've grouped these together. In at number 2 is the Coolin Ridge on the Isle of Skye. Spectacular views from every single one of the Munros up there, all 11, and it adds a real challenge, the Munro round, having to go up there. Some of the mountains up there require ropes and a guide, so yeah, special memories made on that ridge. Here are some of the highlights. So the Isle of Skye is on the west coast of Scotland, and it contains 12 Munros in total, 11 of which are on the Black Coolin Ridge. Now, I spent 4 days with a guide here, and it was actually some of the best days that I've ever had in the mountains. The Coolin Ridge is like nowhere else in Scotland.
Try to go lower if you can.
Just a wee bit lower, yeah. So to do the full 11 Munros, there was a mixture of rock climbing, abseiling, and a lot of scrambling to get to each of the 11 peaks. Now, the highlight of the ridge has to be the infamous In Pin, one of the most difficult Munros, if not the most difficult Munro in Scotland. This is a crazy climb on essentially what is just a big freestanding rock at the top of a mountain. So yeah, and it's followed by that short section of abseiling off the other side. An experience that I will never forget. I was so lucky that I got 4 days of fantastic weather, almost unheard of in Scotland. And I managed to finish the week on a real high on my 200th Munro on Sgurnan Gillian. Now I do have 4 full-length videos on this channel if you'd like to watch them, which breaks down each and every single route that I carried out on the Isle of Skye. And I think you'll probably agree by seeing the views here why it's nearly top of the list. It's amazing really how different the Munros are, aren't they? This is the top of Foyne Ben, my third Munro of round 2. But what a contrast to the likes of the Isle of Skye and the Coolin Ridge. But yeah, that is an insane set of Munros. And I was so lucky on that trip that the conditions I got were perfect for 4 days and 4 clear tops. Yeah, my guide at the time, Dave, said that that's almost unheard of on the Isle of Skye. Anyway, it's looking rather grim and murky up here, isn't it? Along with that wind, it really isn't very pleasant at all. But some great views into the Fanix behind, an area that I'm looking forward to revisiting. I haven't been there for probably 3 or 4 years since the start of my Munro ride. But anyway, it's time for that number 1 spot. So I've decided to get a bit of shelter for this as the cloud is coming in too, but in at that number 1 spot, this is actually a pair of Munros, but one bulk of a mountain, and it's Anchelic in the Northwest Highlands. Hard to beat a day on this mountain. The views are insane in every direction. It's just postcard perfect. That's the only way I can describe it. It's got a bit of everything scrambling and the views are out of this world. So yeah, here's some highlights of my day on Anchelic. So there's a bit of a theme here with my top 5, and Anchelic is also located in the Northwest Highlands of Scotland. Now, the outline of this mountain is instantly recognisable, and upon reaching the first Munro here, the mountain was shrouded in cloud, and it slowly revealed itself, but it was well worth the wait. Well, there's the view that I've waited so long to see, Anchelic. Oh, that is spectacular. So once that view had revealed itself, I made my way to the second Munro, and this is actually the best part of the walk, over to the pinnacles and Lord Berkeley's seat. The views out here were incredible. So I traversed up and onto Lord Berkeley's seat, and then across to the ridge where I explored some pinnacles. And yeah, this is just an incredible place, and it's one of the best viewpoints I've ever seen. There's just something about this mountain that makes it so special. It's got it all, and in my opinion, it is the finest hill walk in Scotland.
Our eyes are burning mine. How I long to see the summer sun with you. I've always known you pull your clothes from bone. I feel your skin, the sea is cold. I'm falling into your soul, and I'll forever dwell on now. My burning flame inside our cove near
So that's my top 5 mountains in Scotland. Angelic tops that list. It had to be. I love that mountain and I'm going to be doing it numerous times, that's for sure. You can see the top of Point Bend behind me there. I'm just about back down. So before I go, I thought I'd show you what I think is some of the most underrated mountains in Scotland. Just a wee bonus of one of my favourite days that I had. And it's a couple of Munros. It's not far from here. It's located in Munro. And it's Sgurchonach and Sgurachurachen. I probably butchered the pronunciation there. But that is actually one of my favourite days in the mountains that I had during the round. I included a third Munro, Mulunde I think it's called. It was an epic day and yeah, one that'll live long in the memories. What a brilliant day that was. I'm just so glad that I've got so much video footage of my Munro ride. I can look back on these adventures. But that's it, that's my top 5 and I'd love for you to put your top 5 down in the comments. I'd like to compare, see if you agree with this. I'm sure Angelic's going to be up there for a lot of people. But yeah, so thanks for joining me on this adventure today, something a little bit different. Another Munro in the bag. For joining me, I'll see you in the next adventure.